I think most bands should manage themselves up until the point that they're touring more than like 3 months out of the year, because that's the point where someone can like meaningfully help you. So I got a really good question while filming this from my friend Kevin, and he asked me, how do you know when to expand your team for your band? And now a really good piece of advice I had on hiring years ago from a pretty high-level businessman was only hire when you absolutely have to, when you're forced to. And I've made this mistake many times in the past, and it took me 2 or 3 years of getting beat in the head with this about hiring too early. And it's, you know, it's fun to hire too early, and it's bold and ambitious to hire early because you're like, look at us, we're expanding, you know, we have a manager and a booking agent and da. But if those people are just costing you money and not bringing you value, then why do you have them? I think most bands should manage themselves up until the point that they're touring more than like 3 months out of the year, because that's the point where too much of your time is getting taken up by the road stuff and etc. And, you know, and someone can like meaningfully help you, you know. Maybe you want a booking agent before then. You know, you want a booking agent once you're starting to break out of your regions, there's starting to be serious demand for you, right? But a lot of bands hire a manager way too early, and it just hurts them. Similar for getting a merch person. Like, if you're gonna I think there's value on the road to like having that 5th guy or 6th guy or whoever, you know, who's like helping drive. You know, absolutely hiring a driver if you can afford it is great, especially if the driver is also going to do merch, or the driver is also going to, you know, TM or whatever. Like, there's a ton of value there. I don't disagree, but you have to be cautious. Like, again, if you're going to hire a driver, how much are you going to pay them? If you're going to hire a TM, are they going to be responsible, or are they going to, you know, fuck you over and look like a dick, right? A TM is a tour manager, for those of you who don't know. Hiring a merch guy is great, but does that mean you're still going to be at your merch stand? Like, huge bands, make sure they come to their merch stand. Swans, Michael Jurok comes to the merch stand after select shows. Enslaved are at the merch stand. Yob are at the merch stand, right? You need to be at your merch stand even if you have a merch person, you know? So like, you need to appreciate that. There's huge, people like really put merch sold to them by the band personally on a pedestal. There was just a thread in the Metal Blade Facebook group about this, Blade Brigade. And like 2 or 3 people, when they were asked like, what's your favorite piece of merch? They explicitly mentioned, oh, because X being the lead singer or lead guitarist or whoever sold it to me. And that's what makes, part of what makes it so special, is there's this connection to the band, and you need to show that connection to the band, and you need to show that on a meaningful, substantive level. And I think this is where a lot of people fall down, is like, they get the merch guy and they're like, oh, we're just gonna hide backstage now. And that's not how it works, you know? Similarly, they get the manager and then they stop trying to push their own affairs, you know? They get the booking agent and they just, oh, okay, you're just gonna handle all the booking. Like, especially at low levels, these people can't just be fully dedicated to you. You need to be helping, growing. Remember, a rising tide lifts all ships. And maybe if you can help your booking agent get a few more contacts because he's early on in his booking agent career, well, guess what? Turn around and now he picks up a few more clients and his contacts grow even more, and so you start to grow too. And it's just stuff like that, right? Like, it's really straightforward. Work your face off, figure it out from there. Understand that you're only hiring when you absolutely need to, you know, and something like a driver is something that you need a lot earlier than a full-on manager. Honestly speaking, for like a decent level manager or booking agent, so you're giving a manager 20%, right? If you're not grossing 50 grand a year, so the manager's making 10K, you're probably not going to get a very serious manager. And even that would be like a relatively low level manager. If you're not, you know, commanding like a $250 minimum guarantee at shows, people probably are, you know, you're not going to get a super serious booking agent. Like, there's some agents who do work with bands lower than that because they think they're going to grow, or they just care about it, or et cetera, and there's definitely value. Like, don't get me wrong, like, you can't not get a booking agent if you're making less than that per show, but like, this is where things start, right? Is like, you need to be able to show that you're generating income for people who are making money on a percentage. So be cautious about that, think about that, and grow with that in mind.